Hey, look, we've got a lot of goodies that we can give away. And in this day and age, we've surveyed a lot of agents. And the number one fear that they have or thing they say back is the fear of not knowing what to say or the fear of looking and sounding stupid. And so what we have compiled, the best of the best, are 38 pages TLR scripts simplified booklet. These are scripts simplified. It's not robotic language. It's very conversational. And anybody who takes advantage of receiving this, you're going to notice they're generally 1 or 2 sentences, not long drawn out paragraphs and big things that you can't memorize in the first place.
This is the Agent Goldmine, where you'll find real talk, shit talk, and ambition. We're here to build real businesses and be more than your average agent. We want to know what the killers are actually doing within their businesses, the reality of it, all tactical, no fluff. So we're here to find out. Please share and enjoy.
Welcome back to the Agent Goldmine. And today we have Jake Dixon in the house. He is oh my gosh. He is, when you think of the locker room coaching program, he is the man, the myth, the legend. If you're watching this on YouTube, you should. He just ripped his shirt. No, he didn't. It's a locker room shirt. He flexed though. It was very cool. So Jake has been in real estate since 2007. And he leads currently a team of coaches and broker owners all across North America. And he's helped hundreds of brokerages and brands and tens of thousands of agents. So Jake, we're so excited to have you on today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, I'm excited to be here. And you promised me this would be the most fun I've ever had on a podcast. So I'm ready to dive in. This is going to be a lot of fun.
All right. Let's do this. Okay, Jake, because we want to make this as fun as possible for you, we want to talk about that you want to talk about. You know, you've been on several podcasts. You have shared your story a lot. If people don't already follow you, hit us with your Instagram handle now so that way people can start following you.
Oh my gosh. My director of marketing, Chelsea, this is a shout out to you. I got to be better at this Instagram stuff. So it's at TLR Nation Coaching. And then my personal one is at Coach Jake Dixon.
Awesome. Okay. Because a lot of this is going to talk about the locker room nation. First, I want to talk about how you even started it. What led you to build probably like one of the biggest real estate agent coaching programs in the world?
Great question. Thank you for that. So to take you back in time, so I was a former team leader within the Keller Williams ecosystem years ago. And I did that for a number of years. And it finally got to a point where I started to feel kind of yucky about it, where I was just recruiting bodies in to hit numbers and off they go. And I realized one day that recruiting and managing an office as a TL wasn't my exact passion any longer. What lit me up like a Christmas tree was sitting across the desk from an agent, diving into their why, setting goals, holding them accountable. And I'm like, well, why am I not doing that? So you combine that realization with the fact that I always have a heart for what I would refer to as the underserved, the brand new agent, the underdogs, that dual career agent who's really fighting to make it, right? And so instead of adding to the problem, I decided to be a part of the solution. And I cannot and will not stand idle to watch year after year that same number flash across your screen, which is 87% of agents in our industry fail. And I'm sick and tired of the leaders and people out there who cast blame to the agents saying, oh, they're unmotivated. You're labeling that person as unmotivated when in reality, we could have done more for them. And so that's why I dove straight into coaching and made this my number one mission, is to move the needle in the opposite direction of our industry to increase that agent success rate, thus decreasing the agent failure rate.
It's so cool that you have a heart for the underdog, because I think that it's, from a business standpoint, it would have been a lot easier to have not focused on the 87% and focused on the 13%, because, you know, there's that mindset of like, there's the return on your own personal energy and effort. And from a business standpoint, it's like, well, the 13% have already proven that they can withstand it. So I believe, you know, there's a line of thinking that could be, you know, that's a safer bet. So has it been a struggle with the underdogs, or what have you seen working and building your business focused on the 87%?
Yeah, really great question. Well, first of all, there was a book that I read, and matter of fact, it just showed up on my Facebook memories 5 years ago is when I read it, and it's called The Blue Ocean Strategy. And so what that book helped me realize was I've always been a big believer that to achieve success, whatever that word means, you observe what the masses are doing and you go the exact opposite direction. So I researched my face off looking at every real estate coaching and training company. And let's be honest, there's no shortage of them out there. And the large percent, the majority, almost all of them, from my research, focuses on the quote unquote already successful agent who can afford $1,000 or whatever a month for the coaching. And yet nobody was addressing the demographic that I'm speaking to here. So that was a lot of the why, or the strategic element of how we would be positioned in the marketplace to impact them. And then if I can get them early in their career, we raise them up in our minor league farm system. And once they hit the major leagues, hopefully we've still won enough trust and brand awareness and rapport with them that they would want to venture into coaching with us one-on-one instead of one of the, other names in that space. So.
Dude, I love the baseball analogy. For those of you who don't know, Jake graduated from the University of North Florida and he played college and professional baseball, which is probably, is that the reason for the locker room?
It 100% is. It's very symbolic in nature because that's where teams come together, bonds are formed, strategies, the X's and O's are determined inside of the locker room. So with a sports background and getting into real estate coaching, it was more symbolic than anything.
So I personally have been through the locker room twice with two different track programs, actually. And so quickly, I want to touch on that. A lot of people, when they think coaching, they're like, oh, like you said, so expensive, $500 plus a month, $1,500 a month. There's no shortage of coaches out there that will say, for just $1,000 a month, you have access to me and I have helped all these other agents and whatever else. You've taken a different approach on this because of what your prices are. Yours is $57 a month for access to the community and the membership. 57 a month. I want to talk about why 57 a month when other coaches are charging $1,500 a month for access to the same stuff.
Yeah, look, we're not a discount set company by any stretch of the imagination. And we have one-on-one coaching, which is $900 a month. But what you're referencing is our agent breakthrough community, which, yes, is $57 a month. And honestly, it serves the mission. A mentor once shared with me that if you make every decision in business based on what a stupid Excel spreadsheet says, I don't know how that's going to ultimately work out for you. So I'm in the business of making great people decisions. Yes, being fiscally responsible and having forecasts, budgets, pro formas. I do all that. It is massively important. But that's a strategic move to make great people decisions. I do not want price to be the determining factor that prohibits that brand new agent, that dual career agent, from getting world-class coaching and training and resources available to them. That is the simplest reason as far as your question as to why. And we want to reach the masses. So the number must be applicable to the masses. So it kind of becomes like their utility bill. I don't want them to check their credit card statement every month, questioning the expense and whether or not it's worth it. I want to make it so much of a no-brainer. Here's the key word, that it would be irresponsible of an agent not to join our community for just the $57 a month at least.
Channeling some Alex Hormozi in my mind, at least. Do you ever listen to him?
I do. My favorite video is the Season of No. Check that out. It's 10 minutes on YouTube. You guys can do it after you watch this podcast, which is amazing. Right. And subscribe and follow and do all that stuff. Go to YouTube, type in Season of No, Alex Hormozi. You're welcome.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I'm definitely going to do that. I love the idea though, like what you just said, where it's like, make the offer so good they feel stupid saying no. And not even feel stupid, like, and I hate the word, I actually really don't like the word stupid in general, but like, yes, irresponsible. Thank you so much. Question, Jake, So the locker room was founded back in 2016. And I'm so curious about how the coaching program has evolved over the years. Like for agents, like what works, what doesn't work, what's your lessons learned and evolution look like?
Thank you for listening. Out of respect for your time, we want to make this show as valuable as possible for you. So if you have any feedback on how we can improve, please let us know. DM us at Allie the Agent and The Shelby Show.
Well, that's a big question. So I could answer that in so many ways, but you at the very end, you asked about the agent. So here's what's fascinating to me. And you referenced baseball, and I'm going to drop some analogies on you. So I used to give, prior to real estate, I owned an indoor baseball training facility, and I would give kids baseball lessons, camps, clinics, that sort of thing. And what I realized as far as baseball is concerned, and I'll tie it back to real estate, is the same way I would teach those kids, the 12-year-old, to grip a baseball or hold the bat the correct way is literally the same thing I'm watching these major leaguers do, like last night on television, who earn millions and millions of dollars a year. And so the lesson in that is the game doesn't change. The fundamentals are the fundamentals, whether you're 12 years old or making $1 million. And so how I translate that into real estate, just like the fundamentals don't change for the game of baseball or any sport really, instead of throwing 55 miles per hour in Little League, now in the major leagues, they're throwing 95 miles per hour. So the game didn't change. The game just sped up. Makes sense? So in real estate, what about this game, the game of real estate? What it takes to close 12 homes per year? Newsflash, spoiler alert, it's the same thing it takes you to close 112 homes per year. It's the boring, the unsexy, the mundane that you just have to get over yourself and do and show up every day and actually work versus looking for that perfect ad or that perfect click funnel that's going to make that breakthrough for you. It's the blocking and tackling of this business. It's time on task over time. We have something, I know you guys like crunchy, practical stuff. So here's one for your audience. We have something that we've coined the 5 to 25 challenge. Right? Challenged language. People, if anybody out there listening to this competitive, yes or yes. Okay, great. So when you hear the word challenge, you kind of perk up like, oh, what you got for me? So at the locker room, we have the 5 to 25 challenge. All it is, it's repackaging something that you have heard 1 million times, and it's called lead generation. Math majors out there, here's what it is. Have 5 conversations a day about real estate. If I do that for 5 days a week, over 50 weeks out of the year, the compound effect now takes over. That's 1,250 real estate conversations in a year. 5 a day times 5 weeks times 50 weeks. I have tracked this religiously for 7 years. For those newer, lesser experienced agents, there's a 2% conversion rate. So for every 50 conversations, that yields you 1 new piece of business. So take 1,250 real estate conversations times 2%. What does that give you? 25 sales. 25. You mean to tell me, I don't care if you're the busiest agent on planet Earth or that new dual career agent who's struggling, that you can't have 5 real estate related conversations a day. You can't convince me otherwise. And that is going to net you a 6-figure income if we're just willing to submit ourselves and do the work and apply time on task over time. That's how we move the needle. So I know that was a very long-winded answer. Your turn.
I love when we go into math and conversions. And like you said, we like the nitty-gritty stuff. So thank you so much for sharing that. It's funny because I've been through the program not once, but twice. And I forgot about that conversion of like the 50 to 1 for newer agents. What do you know what the conversion is for more experienced agents?
Well, insert lesson right there. If somebody listening to this doesn't know their conversion rate, that's a problem. You need to start tracking your numbers and run your business like a business, because that's what that is. Okay. I have coached the spectrum. So there is no one size fits all answer, Allie. I've coached somebody, I think one of the best I saw was 13 to 1. She was an agent down in South Carolina. Everybody's different. I would venture to say if you're more seasoned, more experienced, because you have the advantage of referrals, repeat business, it's going to be less than 50 to 1. That's good news. But find your number. Maybe it's 15 to 1, 20 to 1, somewhere in that ballpark. Ryan and Heather Bigger, shout out to them. I knew after coaching them for 2-3 consecutive years, for every 29 conversations they had, they set 1 appointment. I still remember these numbers to this day. For every 48 conversations they had, they got a new piece of business. So it took the emotion out of the equation, just did the work. The average value of a contact for them was $125. Every call, every dial. So if they talk to 10 people today, guess what? They just made $1,250. It just hasn't shown up in their bank account yet, right? And I told this story to a group, and another agent, his name was Will. Immediately following this group coaching session, I didn't know it at the time, he drives over to Wells Fargo, takes $1,000 cash money out of the bank in the form of $100 bills. And until that day, or from that day forward, rather, he would have a stack of $100 bills next to him while he's doing his lead gen. And every time he talked to somebody, he slid himself $100, anchoring and cementing the fact, I am making money just by doing the activity.
So because I have gone through this program twice, I love it. And I love the amount of recorded sessions there are. And it's in such an easy to find manner. Like if you're about to go on a listing appointment, just quickly type in listing or quickly type in buyer consultation or whatever it is. They have stuff about numbers, conversions, everything that you can just download and use for yourself in case you don't have that template. I've been through the track program twice, and I love, well, first of all, I love that our EXP family has invested into this, therefore giving everyone in our EXP family access to this for free. So I love that. And during the actual program, I really like how especially the 5 to 25, you guys cover all the different aspects of the disc. So it's not just cold calling. It's not just door knocking. It's also, writing a letter, like handwritten letters, and just all the different types of avenues. Because a lot of agents will come on and think, I just want to start lead generating with these 2 different types of, lead generation methods. And they end up falling out because maybe those aren't the methods for them. So I really like that in the homework that you guys assign, which you guys are strict, hey, if you don't show up, the next time, you're gone. You definitely respect the amount of your coaches there. Jake, can you just elaborate on everything what I just said?
Yeah, there's a lot to what you just said. Thank you for the compliment of Track. That is one of our flagship programs, Track Plus, that you've been through yourself a couple of times now. But I want to point back to something you just said, and it's a core belief system of ours. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong. It's just how we roll here at the locker room. And that is part of week 1, actually week 2 of Track. We talk about my belief that is success lives outside your comfort zone is complete. I really think that. It's this common quote we hear, we toss it around. You've probably said it to people just like I have. Unpopular opinion. Success lives outside your comfort zone is BS. Well, Jake, what do you believe in then? Great question. I believe success lives by operating and expanding your strength zone. My strength zone, we have a graphic it's this whole model and belief system, but it starts with you, the center, right? What is my strength zone? What are those unique talents and strengths that you have? What are those transferable skills from all your former careers leading up to now? Your behavioral style, like you're mentioning, Allie, that we take into consideration when building your custom lead generation plan. It's all these things, this recipe that makes you, you. And once you can identify that and you own that, now we can work of expanding outward my strength zone, which makes decision-making and what to say yes to and what to say no to quite clear. And it weeds out all the fluff, because a lot of people get in this business, they latch onto a mentor, that mentor with the right intentions shares what worked for them. And yet that worked for them. It's not guaranteed it's going to work for you. So if you're waking up every day wanting to stab your eyes out with a spoon right now, odds are you're not having fun. And if you're not having fun, that means you're misaligned. Let's stop worrying about what Johnny's doing and what Sally's doing to earn $1 million a year with open houses, and focus on what works for you and build a lead generation plan that's unique to you based on your strength zone, versus being convinced that success must live outside your comfort zone and you have to wake up every day dreading whatever it is you're about to do.
I know there's people listening who are dying. They're being okay, I just did the DISC assessment and I'm looking at my results for specifically lead generation, which is the topic of, everyone's mind all the time. Could you really quickly kind of go through and give maybe like one example per each of the disc? Is that okay?
Absolutely, yeah. So let's say if you're familiar with the disc, you lead with your D personality, which is more direct and stuff like that. Hey, yeah, great. A common example there would be the obvious, where you're just all about the numbers. You're not afraid to call, dial. You're not afraid of rejection like someone else. It's just, I got a job to do. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to cold call 20 FISBOs today and 20 expireds today. That might be an example of how that would show up in a D personalities world. And I, much more outgoing they're a person of the people, right? Very outgoing. So for them, maybe the idea of cold calling is like, oh no, because you're going to hurt my feelings if you tell me no or slam the door in my face. Maybe open houses or something would be amazing for a high I personality, or at a minimum, really focusing on your database and your network and sphere of influence. The S personality, very steady, they say, whoever they is, that 73% of the population is an S behavioral style. They're very steady. They don't like change, fiercely loyal. Again, something like working open houses where you don't have to hunt. You're there already and people are coming to you, and you're naturally a very relationship driven person. So that's natural. The C personalities, this might be the analytical folks who are data driven. I hate to kind of cast a stone here, but what works for them is one-to-one versus one-to-many, right? They're going to open up more in a one-to-one setting. Maybe this person's talented with Facebook ads or graphic design work and really beefs up the marketing approach because they're more analytical. But man, when you get in business with a C, I know a lot of top performing agents who are C personalities killing it. They're very thorough and do an amazing job and tend to get a lot of repeat and referral business.
That's so fun. Thank you very much. I am a D and I am married to a C. So I like to think that you're totally right. He's analytical, thorough, the ads, So anyway, love that. What are you, Jake?
So I'm a DI. I'm 99% DI. I have 4% C personality, so that's fun.
So where do you see the locker room nation going? Like what are the next steps for you?
Oh my goodness. You guys asked some big questions. So we have a lot of projects we're working on right now behind the scenes to add some new verticals and different things to
give us a hint.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll give you one.
Okay.
Something we're working on right now that we anticipate, we're going to beta test it first, then anticipate a full-blown rollout, probably somewhere mid 2024. And that is referencing what we were just talking about, Track Live. So taking the 12-week digital program that so many thousands and thousands of agents have gone through and taking it on the road and condensing it down into not 12 weeks, of course, but 6 weeks, 1 day a week, taught live in person with a track instructor, a track coach, and going around into different markets and things, doing that live rather than just a digital product.
Oh my gosh. So like one city at a time? Is that or
we would have multiple approved track coaches. So there might be one going on in Charlotte, North Carolina, while another coach is launching one out in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah. How did you find the coaches?
So, a lot of it was network attraction from a former company that I was with, and just who do you know that I need to know, just good old fashioned networking, and largely due to how vocal we are about our mission and everything I shared kind of at the beginning of the podcast. And it just frankly drew people in. It draws the right people in because we're unwavering and unapologetic around our belief system, our core values, and our mission as a company. And look, there's no shortage of places great coaches can go. There's a lot of big brands, big names, big companies out there. And we're okay just being nice and, I say small comparative to other companies, but we've got about 20 coaches right now, and they're just amazing salt of the earth people.
Yo, real quick, this podcast is not free. Cost of admission is sharing with a buddy who'd benefit or throwing it on your Instagram story. Tag us, we'll reshare that shit. As a coach, I'm sure you've seen a ton of agents, come and thrive, and then some come and go. And I was wondering if there's any trends you could share with us about like maybe like indicators or red flags, things that you see within people that are more likely to, you know, succeed or fail? However you want to take that.
Lack of consistency. I'm just really a stickler about this. Most people don't give whatever it is they're doing enough time. And so they get impatient. They begin to second guess themselves. They move to the new flavor of the month for, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. They just never stick with something long enough to master it. Second part of that is they also generally don't take the intentional time to do what I call studying the game film or kissing it. I'll give you another crunchy something your audience can take away. So when I say study the game film, you guys probably know what I mean. It's an intentional pause. Look back at the week, look back at the month. What worked? What didn't work? Where do I need to adjust? I'm going to document what I'm going to do because I'm doing it anyways. Why not write it down versus keeping it up here? That way I can reflect and say, here's the sequence that I did this open house. What worked? Ooh, that right there didn't work. Maybe I'm going to tweak that or get rid of it altogether and now go out and try it in a new way. That continual tweaking. One of my friends, and I'll share my crunchy thing here in just a second. He says this, so I'll steal it. It's like, let's say I keep picking on Allie. I'll go to Shelby. Let's say Shelby has a birthday tomorrow. And dear old Jake here wants to bake Shelby a cake for her birthday. What's the first thing somebody like me would do? I'm helpless otherwise. I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to find the aisle that has the cake mix in it. And I'm going to study all of those beautiful cakes on there. And I'm going to say, I want to buy this one. Why? I'm buying what's on the front of the box. I believe that if I followed the directions on the back of the box, that I can produce that outcome. The ingredients, the steps, you have to measure. There's an order of operations. There's a degree you have to put the oven on. If I jack with any of that, I'm not going to get what's on the front of the box. Okay? That is why systems and documenting this stuff is so freaking important, because some of you agents say, I want that. I want to be that agent. I want to make that kind of money, but you're unwilling to document and study and tweak the recipe to get what's on the front of the box. So here's how you do it. This is the crunchy thing. KISS it. It's not keep it simple, stupid in this case. It's KISS. Here's what it means. Every week, I want you to start asking this, and then you can go to monthly and quarterly if you want. K, ask yourself, based on the last week, what is it that I need to keep doing? What do you need to keep doing? Answer that. The I, based on what I did this last week, what do I need to be more intentional about? S, based on the last week, what do I need to stop doing? Cut my losses. It didn't work. No more. And then, of course, the last one, you guessed it. What is it that I need to start doing? If everybody listening to this would just take nothing more other than that and actually implement it, anchor your weeks, watch the game film, answer the KISS questions, you might be surprised how quickly you reduce that learning curve and start getting the results that you intend on getting.
Mic dropped. Yes, drop it, Jake.
Pen drop.
That's awesome. I wanted to interrupt there and be like, I'm actually not sure what you're talking about. What's film? But I was nice.
Yeah. Watch the game film. A lot of athletes, like the baseball playoffs are going on right now. Football games are taking place right now at the time of recording. Teams don't just go into the game thinking and wondering, how are we going to win? They're spending just as much time in the war room watching game film on their opponent, watching game film on themselves, saying, oh, right there, that's where you missed that block. That's where you missed that tackle. That's what I mean about watching and studying our game film. What took place, what worked, what didn't work, what in-game adjustments do I need to make? Every
guest brings a golden nugget. And Jake, first of all, thank you so much for doing your homework. Not all guests do, so we love you.
I mean, I felt threatened by you guys if I don't.
Excellent. That's what we want. What did you bring for the audience?
Yeah. Hey, look, we've got a lot of goodies that we can give away. And in this day and age, we've surveyed a lot of agents. And the number one fear that they have or thing they say back is the fear of not knowing what to say or the fear of looking and sounding stupid. And so what we have compiled the best of the best, our 38 pages TLR Scripts Simplified booklet. These are scripts simplified. It's not robotic language. It's very conversational. And anybody who takes advantage of receiving this, you're going to notice they're generally 1 or 2 sentences, not long, drawn out paragraphs and big things that you can't memorize in the first place.
Yeah. And the simplified, it makes so much sense to me too, as I was browsing through, because, you know, scripts kind of gets a bad name for itself. It's like, I don't want to sound robotic. I don't want to read from a script. Well, that's not the point.
Right.
The point is understanding how to handle yourself in all those different situations. And we call it scripts.
That's right.
And then embodying that into your own authentic person, your personality, how you communicate. So it comes out in a natural way that doesn't sound scripty. So like, I really appreciate that it's, you know, the clips of the words, because it doesn't give people even the option to become a robot.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No, you're spot on. And that's why we took that approach. To me, scripts are a system, just like anything. It's a duplicatable pattern that can create a predictable outcome. It's a system. It's a set of language that we know works. Now you get to make it your own. It's a roadmap for you to use, right? But that's really all scripts are. And people just kind of get all funky about that, like you said. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't feel like you, either you can tweak it or you just haven't practiced it enough so it becomes natural. And to the agents who say out there, well, script doesn't sound like me, that's fair, but it probably sounds like somebody who's doing $500K a year. And so until you're doing that, you might want to like be coachable and try it on for size and then make it your own.
Yes. I love that. And this script book simplified, I mean, it covers everything. Buyers, sellers, open houses, you know, every objection that you are getting, you will find it in this golden nugget. So Jake, thank you so much for sharing that. And for the audience, in case this is your first time listening, you can find this for free at theagentgoldmine.com.
Okay, Jake, piece of advice based on all of your experience overseeing agents, watching them, you know, we have great nuggets through the fact of be consistent, and take the time to study the game film. Anything else that you think is like an impactful piece of advice that you would like to leave the listeners with?
Yeah, personal growth. I mean, I know some people kind of glaze over when they talk about this or hear this stuff, but I'm just such a huge proponent of personal growth. People watching this right now or listening to this right now, obviously you value learning, you value personal growth. So I honor you. But don't let it stop here either. What book are you reading? Do you have Audible on your phone? What audiobook are you listening to? What conference are you planning on attending next year? So on and so forth. Who are you shadowing? That constant pursuit of learning and sharpening the skills and networking with other people who have maybe gone before you, they're just a chapter or two ahead, is so freaking critical that you can save your time a ton of time and headache. Obviously, I'm a proponent of coaching. You're not just paying somebody for 30 minutes once a week and looking at his trading dollars for hours. Like, dude, when you coach with me, for example, you're getting everything I've ever screwed up, every book I've ever read. You're getting my entire network of people. That's what you're investing into, not just the coaching itself. So I can't leave that out either. Personal growth.
I want to head into our wrap-up questions, and I'm super curious about this first one. So we ask every guest the same questions. What is your favorite app or tool?
Oh, God.
Curious.
Really? So my team will probably smack me because I actually don't get into the apps and things. Like I know my lane and I try and stay in my lane. However, I will give you an answer. I use the heck out of Slack. I know that's not like some earth-shattering thing or some AI new form of technology. It's just one of my core values is transparent communication. So for me, Slack is handy. It's on my phone. I use it constantly all day, every day. And it's probably grown to be, love it or hate it, one of my favorite apps that I have for business.
Doesn't have to be fancy. What is it? Simple scales, fancy fails.
There you go.
What you just mentioned that they were your own core values. So do you have, this is not one of my wrap-up questions. I'm going off-roading. You have your own core values and then you also have company core values. You have both?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if a large percentage of my waking time as an adult is spent working, I better be really freaking clear about the things that I believe in, the things I value, and it's going to show up in my work. I'm not one of those people that says separate work from personal life, and I can't, and I don't want to. I take my kids to our events and all these things that we do. I want them knowing what dad does, you know? So yeah, I have my own set of core beliefs and core values, and much of them very much carry over into business because I am who I am, love it or hate it, and I want to attract similar people who are like-minded and on the same journey as I am.
Love it. Okay, what events are you going to, Jake, this year? So Allie and I can stalk. I mean, the listeners can come and find you.
Apple listeners, this short pause is to ask you for a review. Here's how to do it. Back out of the specific episode, go to the page where you see all the episodes, scroll down, keep scrolling. Perfect. Now tap those 5 stars. Thank you so much. Back to the show.
Well, I'm still waiting, Glenn, on my invitation to speak at an EXP con, but no, you know, there's that. So, you know, that's an interesting question. We're trying something new ourselves this year with the locker room, where we're doing a proximity tour. We're going to small kind of regional cities and things versus one annual big conference in a big city. So like next month or in November, I'm going to Des Moines, Iowa. So we're just going to make our rounds regionally throughout 2024 and see what that does. In addition to answer your actual question, I'm not above this. I may or may not be at a lot of the big conferences, whether it's EXP Con, Keller Williams Family Reunion. I might be where they are, whether I'm attending or not, and do what I'm referencing piggyback events, where you might see Jake standing on the side corner with a cardboard thing saying, hey, over here, lunch and learn, or hey, mixer happy hour thing over here, because I'm just going to go where people are and place myself amongst them and do a little locker room thing here and there while having fun at all these other people's events.
Yeah. And there are so many people that do that already, even to, I mean, I'm not condoning this to like sneak into the events or to the breakout sessions or, you know, for content, but people, but people will totally like not buy a ticket to the actual event, travel, and then just hang out anyway. Cause LobbyCon, you can still meet everyone there. Yeah.
That's what this guy's going to be doing a lot of next year.
Yeah. I mean, I might do that too. So why not save on some money? Okay.
Just saying.
How can we help you in your business? I'm going to see how I can connect you to speak at EXPCon. But aside from that, how else?
That's a good one. And you're doing it here. I mean, to have the opportunity to shoot the breeze with you guys for 45 minutes or so and allow me to share, whether it's just social media handles or a couple other shout outs you've done, like, dude, you're doing it. Like, I really believe in the law of reciprocity. That as long as I give value and I stay true to myself, pour into your community, what more can I really ask for? I mean, at a practical sense, I guess, yeah, if any agent or even broker owner or leader of a team wants to explore a partnership with us that you know, connect them my way, man. But I'm really bad at asking for help from other people. So this right here is perfect.
And those people, they're listening. They're like, I want the locker room. I want to talk to Jake. Where is the best place for them to find you?
Honestly, I'm not too big time that I still don't check my own messages and voicemails and emails and things. So number one, just get me direct on Facebook is where I spend most of my time. Just look up Jake Dixon. You can email me, jake@tlrnation.com. But if you want to follow us as a company, obviously we said Instagram earlier, but a lot goes on Facebook and things. That's facebook.com/lockerroomcoaching. Again, Instagram is @TLRNationCoaching, or me personally @Coach Jake Dixon. But send me an email, jake@tlrnation.com. Let's chat. I'd love to connect and see how I can help.
Awesome. Thank you, Jake, so much for coming on the podcast and sharing what you have built. I am so excited to hopefully partake and be a part of one of the regional stuff that you have going on, the live stuff. It's helped me a lot in my business, especially since, to wrap it up from what you said in the beginning, to helping out the underdog, those that are doing this part-time. That's how I was when I first got started. and I was still able to do 20 transactions while traveling with the military. And that's because of the Locker Room Nation. So, and because of like our upline paying for that. So that I feel like that's, I have to thank Ruben again after this. Be like, Ruben, thanks for paying for my spot and helping me do 20 transactions my first year while still learning everything. So I am super excited to see where the Locker Room Nation goes. I also love that your Instagram is the TLR Nation Instagram is very active. So whenever I like share something, you guys like repost it, and I love that because sometimes other people like don't do that. And I feel
Shout
the
out
love.
to Chelsea. She's managing the whole thing. She's my director of marketing. Chelsea, you're incredible. That's all her.
Chelsea, yeah, thanks, Chelsea. Love ya. Never met you.
You will.
Okay, sweet. For those that missed it the first time, you can get the Golden Nugget on theagentgoldmine.com. You can follow Jake, or email him if you want. If you're a broker owner that is looking to leverage training, jake@tlrnation.com. In case you guys don't already follow us, we are Allie the Agent and The Shelby Show on Instagram. We respond to all messages as long as you're not a bot or in any way creepy. And thanks for listening to the show, dude. Be a bro and share this show.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much for listening, dude. If you want the golden nugget that this guest provided, see the show notes or just go straight to theagentgoldmine.com. That's where we keep all our resources for you. Till next time.